Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at The Intouchables.
Okay.
This film has charmed audiences around the world.
Yeah?
It's racked up an impressive 8.5 on IMDb.
Wow.
And with almost 1 million ratings.
That's huge.
So you're probably already pretty familiar with the story.
Okay.
It's about Felipe, a wealthy quadriplegic man,
Right.
and Driss, the young man from the projects who he hires to be his caregiver.
I see.
But there is actually more to this film than meets the eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's really fascinating is how The Intouchables
Yeah.
goes beyond a simple feel-good narrative.
Okay.
It's actually based on a true story.
That's cool.
And that adds a whole other dimension of intrigue to it.
So is it like a documentary or is it?
It's not a documentary, it's a
Yeah.
feature film, but it's based on a true story.
Gotcha.
So the real-life inspiration for Driss was actually an Algerian man named Abdel.
Okay.
But in the film, Driss is Senegalese. And that was a very deliberate choice by the directors Olivier Nakache and Eric Toledano.
Interesting.
And it sparks some interesting debate as well.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant detail to change the nationality of a character.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really curious, what was the reasoning behind that decision?
Yeah.
Is it just an artistic choice, or was there something else going on?
Well, they had actually worked with Omar Sy,
Okay.
the actor who plays Driss,
Yeah.
on a previous project.
Yeah, huh?
And they were just blown away by his talent.
I see.
And they felt like he was perfect for the role.
Right.
They believed that his personal experiences growing up in the suburbs of Paris
Yeah.
would really bring this like raw authenticity to the character.
So they basically tailored the role to fit the actor.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it really speaks to the faith they had in Omar Sy's ability to really embody the character.
Yeah, for sure. But like you said, this casting decision did lead to some controversy.
It did. Some critics argued that the portrayal of Driss leaned into racial stereotypes,
I see.
like particularly the magical Negro trope,
Oh, okay.
where a black character exists solely to help a white character overcome their struggles.
Yeah, I can definitely see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
That's a very valid concern.
For sure.
But I do think that the film doesn't shy away from showing Driss as like a fully realized individual.
Yeah.
Like he has flaws, you know?
Oh, yeah.
He challenges Philippe, he pushes him out of his comfort zone.
Totally.
He kind of acts as a catalyst for Philippe's own personal growth.
Exactly. And it's not like a one-sided relationship.
Right.
Driss benefits from the experience as well.
Absolutely.
Philippe exposes him to art and music,
Yeah.
a whole world beyond the projects that he grew up in.
Yeah.
Really broadens his horizons.
That's true.
So the film really emphasizes the mutual respect
Yeah.
and the genuine bond that they develop.
Yeah.
And it becomes less about the helper and
Yeah.
and more about two individuals connecting on this like human level.
It's interesting how the film could have easily fallen into the trap of
Right.
portraying their friendship as like an unlikely pairing,
Yeah.
you know, and focusing on their differences.
Yeah, totally.
But instead, it very quickly establishes a believable connection between them.
Absolutely.
They joke, they argue, they learn from each other.
Right.
It's a very natural evolution of their relationship throughout the film.
And it helps that the film doesn't spend too much time dwelling on the how of their friendship.
But that's true.
It acknowledges that initial awkwardness, but it quickly moves on
Yeah.
to showcasing their shared experiences and their moments of laughter
Yeah.
and their growing understanding of one another.
And that's probably a key reason why this film resonated with audiences worldwide.
For sure.
It goes beyond surface level differences, and it touches on this universal desire for connection and belonging.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of hung up on the title. You know, The Intouchables. Is it simply referring to Philippe's physical limitations? Or is there like a deeper meaning there?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that reveals another layer of the film's complexity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So some interpret the title as a reference to the Indian caste system,
Okay.
where the untouchables are those who are ostracized and marginalized by society.
Right.
And in the film, both Philippe and Driss experience a form of social isolation.
You're totally right. I didn't even think about that parallel.
Yeah.
So Philippe, despite his wealth, is very much confined by his quadriplegia,
Yeah.
and it limits his interactions with the world.
Right.
And Driss, despite all of his charisma,
Yeah.
he faces a lot of prejudice
Yeah.
and limited opportunities because of his background.
Exactly.
So they both are, in a way, untouchable
Yeah.
in their own right.
In their own way.
They're perceived and treated very differently, often with pity or judgment,
Yeah.
but yet they find solace and companionship in each other. And they're breaking down these societal barriers to forge this really unique bond.
I like that.
It really makes you think about how we often label and categorize individuals
Yeah.
based on appearances or our preconceived notions.
It's true.
We failed to see the person beneath the surface.
Yeah.
And the Intouchables subtly challenges those assumptions.
It does.
And it encourages us to look deeper
Yeah.
and really connect on a human level.
That's powerful.
Yeah. It's really remarkable how the Intouchables manages to address these really complex themes.
Right.
Like social isolation and prejudice, while still maintaining this lighthearted and humorous tone.
It's a really tough balance to strike,
It is.
but they do it masterfully.
Yeah, they blend humor and heart so well.
That's right.
They don't shy away from the realities of Philippe's condition
Yeah.
or the challenges that Driss faces, but they do it with this touch of wit
Yeah.
and a whole lot of warmth.
And I think one scene that really captures that is the shaving scene. When Driss is helping Philippe shave.
It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's like the perfect example of their dynamic, that playful banter.
Right.
And the way that Driss brings this fresh, unfiltered perspective
Totally.
into Philippe's very meticulously ordered world.
And it's a great example of how the film uses humor
Yeah.
to address what could be a very sensitive topic.
Right.
It's not making light of Philippe's disability at all,
Right.
but it's highlighting his ability to find joy and laughter,
Yeah.
even in the midst of his limitations.
And it's not just slapstick humor either.
No, it's not.
There's this subtle undercurrent of social commentary
Totally.
because Driss's bluntness,
Yeah.
his disregard for social graces,
Right.
it kind of forces those around Philippe
Yeah.
to confront their own discomfort with disability.
You're so right.
Yeah.
It challenges all those unspoken rules and expectations that often create barriers between people.
It's Driss by just being himself.
Exposes the absurdity of a lot of those social constructs.
Exactly.
And speaking of challenging conventions,
Okay.
the film's soundtrack is another element that adds to its unique charm.
Oh, for sure.
Like that scene
Yeah.
where Driss introduces Philippe to Earth, Wind and Fire,
Oh, yeah.
September,
Classic.
and they're both dancing
Yes.
in their own way.
I love that scene.
It's just pure joy.
It is.
I love that musical choice.
Me too.
It's brilliant.
It really encapsulates the film's spirit
Yeah.
of embracing life and finding happiness in these unexpected moments.
It's a good reminder that joy can be found,
Absolutely.
even amidst adversity.
And sometimes,
Yeah.
all it takes is a catchy tune
That's true.
and a willingness to let loose.
Like you can't help but smile
I know.
and tap your feet along with them.
It's infectious,
Yeah.
and it's a testament to the power of music
Yeah.
to transcend physical limitations and emotional barriers,
The music acts as this bridge.
connecting not only the two characters, but
Yeah.
also the audience
Right.
to their shared experience.
It's a reminder that
Yeah.
despite our differences, we all share this common human need
Yeah.
for connection,
Connection.
for laughter, for moments of just pure, unadulterated fun.
The Intouchables is such a special film.
It is.
It doesn't preach.
No.
It doesn't lecture.
Right.
It just presents a story of human connection in all of its messy, imperfect glory.
Yeah,
It makes you laugh.
it does.
It warms your heart.
Uh-huh.
And it leaves you with this sense of hope
Hope.
and optimism.
Optimism.
And that's why this film resonated with audiences all over the world.
It did.
It became this global phenomenon.
It really did.
And it just proves that stories that speak to the human experience
Yeah.
have the power to transcend cultural boundaries.
Yeah, you see people from all walks of life
Yeah.
connecting with these characters and their journey,
Yeah.
and the film's ultimately uplifting message.
Yeah. It's amazing how they strike that balance
Yeah,
between entertainment and social commentary.
that's a tough one.
Yeah, they don't hit you over the head with it.
Right.
It's very subtle.
Yeah, they let the story and the characters speak for themselves.
It really makes you kind of reflect on your own preconceived notions
It does.
and how you interact with people who are different from you.
It challenges us to look beyond the surface
Yeah.
and recognize that shared humanity that kind of binds us all.
I mean, both Philippe and Driss are untouchable in their own ways.
Yeah.
But their friendship transcends those limitations.
It shows that connection is possible
Yeah,
when we're willing to open ourselves up to others.
that's a good point.
It's about recognizing those invisible walls we build
Yeah.
and daring to step outside of our comfort zones.
So how do we translate that message into action?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, how do we break down those barriers and foster genuine connection in our own lives?
I think that's where the true impact of the Intouchables lies.
Okay.
It plants a seed.
Okay.
It makes us look for opportunities to connect with those who might be different from us.
Yeah.
To challenge our assumptions.
Challenge our assumptions.
Yeah. And to approach others with empathy and understanding.
So being more open, basically.
It starts with a willingness to engage,
Okay.
to listen,
Okay.
and to recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every individual.
It's like fostering those September moments.
Oh, I like that.
You know, those instances of shared joy and connection
Yeah,
that transcend differences.
absolutely.
So it could be as simple as striking up a conversation with someone
Yeah,
that you wouldn't normally talk to.
right.
Or volunteering your time to a cause that supports marginalized communities.
Or just being more mindful of the language we use
Right.
and the assumptions that we make.
The Intouchables reminds us that human connection is powerful
It is.
and that it's capable of bridging divides and creating a more inclusive and compassionate world.
It's a call to action
Is.
to embrace our shared humanity
Yeah.
and strive to build bridges rather than walls.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Intouchables, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
How has this film resonated with your own experiences? Have you ever encountered someone who challenged your preconceived notions
Interesting.
or helped you see the world from a different perspective?
It's always good to challenge those
It is.
preconceived notions.
Maybe this deep dive has sparked a curiosity
Yeah,
to explore the true story behind the film.
that's always a journey worth taking.
It is.
The most inspiring stories are those rooted in reality.
That concludes our deep dive
Okay.
into the Intouchables.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you enjoyed the journey and that you came away with some food for thought.
Some things to think about.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring, keep learning,
Keep learning.
and keep those connections strong.
Absolutely.